What's up, my friends? It's Carlos. Thank you very much for joining to this session. I was working on a project and I said, hey, why not just come live and start working through what I'm doing right now for that project and then share how to do it. And I'm working on creating a survey or a quiz. And I have a ton of different tools. I'm proud of you too, but I said, what would be the easiest way for someone to create a quiz survey and capture that information and then be able to leverage it and use it and also provide some value to their customers. So what I'm going to be doing is that I'm going to be going through building the survey that I actually or the assessment that I need to build, so later on I can add it to one of our classes. And through that, if you have any questions, drop them on the chat. I hope that I can see them while I'm here. If not, I will answer them after the fact. But the idea is that I'm going to go through a whole process of how you can create your assessment. So let me share my screen. Okay, so there we have it. So I am building an email newsletter assessment for one of the classes that I'm going to be teaching. And I said, okay, let's build this on Google Forms. Google Forms is very simple to use, even though there's a ton of other tools. But with this one, probably you already have access to it. You don't have to pay anything extra, and you get the data back into Google Sheets. So in that way, you don't have to do anything else. So the first thing is that you create a basic form. If you don't know how to create a form, let me just go right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click into the nine dots on your profile, and you're going to scroll to forms. And you have an option to create the different forms. So you can just create a blank one, and that will give you a form. Okay. And when you create your form, the first thing that I recommend you to do is to come and name the form. The reason for that is that you also gonna have to create a Google Sheet where to save the information. And if you don't put the name on it, then you're gonna have a problem because it's gonna be mismatched and you're not gonna be able to find it. So I go and create the name. And then the next thing that you're gonna do is you're gonna come into this responses area. Okay. And you see that right here it says link to sheets and it doesn't have anything. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna click link to sheet and it's gonna ask you, okay, do you wanna create a new one or do you wanna link it to an existing one? Based on what I've seen, just create a brand new one. So in that way you have all those answers separated. Advanced use cases allow you to integrate with other spreadsheets. So you can actually have multiple forms going to that. I'm not going to complicate it right now. We're just going to go with a new one. So just leave it there. It has the name, you see, the form. If not, it's going to say untitled form. So we want it to be newsletter. And then you probably can't see it, but it says responses. So the idea is that you know that, okay, these are the responses from that form. All you have to do is click create. If you don't do this, now it's creating the form. So you see it's adding all the information and it's gonna now add any new question that you add into your form. You're gonna put it automatically. Like I was saying, if you don't add that to your form, what's gonna happen, let me just switch here so you can see my face. Okay, what's gonna happen is that all your information gonna stay in the Google form. But I'm assuming that if you're creating an assessment, a survey, a quiz, it's because you want to understand your customer. You want to be able to help them and you want to know the data. So you may want to graph it. Let's say if you want to know the age of your customers, if you want to know the level of the question or whatever it's going to be, you want to be able to do some graph and manage it. If the data is just in the form, you just see it on the form. You cannot manage it. So let's go back into the form. So what I'm going to do is that you can add the title on the top. You can add a little brief information. And then one of the options that I have in here is that I want to use a valid email, because the idea is that I'm going to send them the response that they have. So you want to make sure that when you configure your form, you go into settings, and in the responses, you select collect email address, and you want to put responses input. So in that way, you can capture that email address for the user. Okay. Now, the next thing is that you can just start dropping the fields. So this is very simple. You can just click plus, and you can then add then the question that you want. If it's on the wrong spot, you see the 6 dots in here. You can just, you can move it down. And let me just go here to my second question so I can have it. So I'm working here. What is a hybrid newsletter? And then I'm gonna start adding all my answers. And again, the idea of doing something like this, and again, I'm copying from my template. I actually write it first, and then I actually go and I then start adding, so in that way make it easier, is that you can actually start connecting with your audience and make it more important. So you can then serve them in a better way. So that's part of what I'm going to be doing. Then you see this part in here that tell you answer key. In here, I can select what is the answer. So in this case, this is the answer. Because now for each time that somebody answered the question correctly, they're gonna get a number of points. So I can at the end give them a score. Hey, you got 20 out of 25, or you got 95 out of whatever amount. So in this way, you can tally the numbers automatically and then provide a number to the users. What I found is that with the Google form, you cannot be really strictly precise that this question gonna be 2 points versus the next one gonna be 1 point. This one is about almost as a generic point, but you can then, by default, you can customize the number in here. And again, I'm not asking you to build your school assessment in here, but this is so you can at least capture some information. Okay. So let's say that, as you see, this is number 2, but the question goes here. All that I have to do, I just drag the question down. So then I can just have them in the correct order. And then as I start going through it, I have the option to make it required so they can answer the question. So in that way, you know the numbers at the end of the day. But as you can see, the green one is the one that is the correct answer. So let's say that you want to add, you have the option to import questions, add a title, but add a section. Here's the part that is important. And I want to add a section because what I want to do is that I want to have them break down by different areas. So let me just, section number 2. I'll be understanding the audience. Okay. And now I can start adding additional questions under that section. Something also that is very helpful for you is that you can add images, but also videos. And this one is important here because you can bring the videos directly from YouTube. So you can put them as a hidden video that it will help your audience as they go through the assessment. So let's say that video number 1, or you're explaining something on that section or the survey, you can show them a video, explain them what they have to do and how it's going to help them. Okay. So at the end, when you add all your questions, all you have to do is that you can come and you can click the send button. Okay. So there are two different ways you can send the email. You can then send this gigantic link and you can shorten it. Here's a tip that I've been finding out lately. With all the changes that Google is doing, if you send the full Google link in your email, let's say your newsletter or any email that you send, like this one, this ugly gigantic link, Google will detect that you're sending them something with the Google link, so they will not block it. So you have a higher rate of deliverability going to the inbox. A lot of people go and do this, and they make it short, but when you shorten it, it's now a different link. So by testing and by working with a lot of people, when you get the full link, that one is the one that will help you deliver more to the inbox. So you can then copy the link. I'm gonna then open it here, and now I can start going through it. And as you can see, it will detect the email address of the account that is connected, but I want to make sure that they type that email address, type the name, and then start through a process of answering all the questions. And you see, now I have a section. Now I can go to section 2, but it's asking me, oh wait, why? Because I made every field a required field. So my friends, I hope that this will help you through your time that you need to create a survey, you need to create a form so people will provide information for you. If you have any questions, please drop me a line. Let's connect and let's build our businesses the right way. My friends, we'll see you on our next video.